Everybody, welcome back to That's WAC, where we talk about the Washington Administrative Code as it pertains to childcare. Today, we're going to be going over WAC 110-300-0166, which is emergency preparation and exiting. So, to be properly prepared for an emergency, early learning programs must have an emergency preparedness plan required by the WAC. Early learning providers must have the following in case of an emergency. So if you're an admin or a teacher and you don't know where these things are, one admin figure it out. Two teachers ask. And parents, you can ask too if you're like, hey, you guys have this, right? Keep them accountable. You have to have a working flashlight or other emergency lighting device must be available for use as an emergency light source. Battery-powered flashlights must have an extra set of batteries easily available, and a working telephone must be available for use with sufficient backup power to function for at least 5 hours. Now, the flashlight is usually doable. Like they'll usually have the flashlight. Now, keeping the batteries charged and up to date and having an extra pair around, that is a hard time or something that admin usually struggles with. Having a working telephone, that I don't see that very often in childcare centers, to be honest. Walkie-talkies, yes, but a working telephone with sufficient backup power to function for at least 5 hours, I don't see that unless it's a teacher's personal cell phone. So, and most centers don't like teachers to have their personal cell phones in the classroom because it's a distraction from the children. So that one's tricky. To ensure a safe exit from the premises during an emergency, early learning providers must comply with the following requirements. An emergency exit door must remain unlocked from the inside, but may be locked from the outside while the program is open. The door handle must be a type that can be opened from the inside without use of a key, tools, or special knowledge, and must be automatically unlocked when the knob or door handle is turned. So, in other words, if for some reason all the adults in the building passed out, the children who are old enough, obviously, could still get out of the building. Now, a lot of providers try to get around this, especially with children who are autistic, because they can run out of the building. So you kind of have to find a way to, one, prevent that. And if you're doing supervision and they have an aide, like it should be fine. But not all of them have aides. So you really got to be vigilant or rearrange the room so it makes it harder to get to the door, but doesn't block the door, things like that. Um, and it's just the emergency door. So like the main door, if you had to, could be locked from the inside. But again, the exit door cannot. And usually exit doors have like a sound alarm on it. So if they did run out, you would hear that and could grab them really fast. Um, Exit doors that are not designated as emergency exit doors may be locked during operating hours. Locking interior doors in early learning space must be designed to be unlocked from either side. An unlocking device must be readily available, and exit doors must not be partially or entirely blocked. So you can lock it if it's a non-exit door, but it can't be blocked. For family home early learning programs, each level of floor of the home license for the early learning space, except for basements, must have at least two emergency exit pathways that lead directly to the exterior of and away from the building. At least one emergency exit on each floor must be an emergency exit door. At least one emergency exit door must be a pivoting or slide hinge swinging door, or other exit doors may be sliding glass doors. The portion of the home that is partly or completely below grade, which is the basement, must have at least one emergency exit window or door that leads directly to the exterior of the building. Every room licensed for early learning programming, except for bathrooms, must have at least two emergency exits. These exits must be any combination of the following: an emergency exit door that leads directly to the exterior of the building, an emergency exit window that leads directly to the exterior of the building, or a door or doorway that leads to an emergency exit pathway. No two doors or doorways can lead to the same emergency exit pathway. So essentially what they're saying is there needs to be two ways to get out of the building. If there's a fire and both of your exits lead directly to where the fire's at, that's not very helpful to have both doors like facing the same way. You want a door that's going to be that gives you options so that you could get out in case that is a fire. And when you're doing a fire drill, you should practice the primary exit, but you should also practice at least a couple times a year the secondary exit so children know that, oh, hey, there's an obstacle in the way. Let's use the secondary exit so that they know both. That's what you ideally should be doing in that situation. And then any window used as an emergency exit window must remain unlocked during operating hours, except that a manufacturer installed latch may remain latched. Be designed to open from the inside of the room without the use of keys, tools, or special knowledge. Be easy to open to full position. Have at least 5.7 square feet of open area, except emergency exit windows on the ground floor, which must have at least 5 square feet of open area. Must be at least 20 inches wide and at least 24 inches tall when fully opened. Have an interior sill height of no more than 44 inches above the interior floor, and have a place to land outside that is no more than 48 inches below the exterior seal. So they're pretty serious in the WAC about what emergency doors look like, what emergency windows look like, where you should have them, how many you should have, which is a good thing because you want children to be safe in case there is an actual emergency. So I hope that was helpful to providers and parents as well. Thanks, and you guys have a good rest of your week. Bye.